there are times when I am unhappy or things aren't going well, or just like in any other relationship, it's like you just have to be committed. You say, it's like you have to honor the idea that you are committed to this and you're going to see it through thick or thin.
I can feel it in the air, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a good day.
I'm starting to really believe that communication is the key. I think communication is the key. We need to start communicating. Let's just start communicating more. Let's have
Yo, Team Jackson, it's your boy Ty.
It's your girl Shara.
And we back with another video. Look, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the post notification bell so you'll be notified every single time we drop a video. Alright, so check this out. Today we're doing something very interesting, very cool, should be very fun, and Shara's gonna explain to you what that is.
Okay, you guys, today, pretty much, if you guys seen one of our videos before, he said something about the fact that I bring up interesting questions and maybe I should do like a segment, maybe call it Shara's Table or something like that. We really don't know what this is called yet. However, what we're doing is like in the format of a debate. We're gonna talk today, y'all, about sister wives. Okay, so while we're talking about sister wives, I'm going to be coming from the perspective of someone that's like, nah, heck no.
No.
That's where I'm coming from.
And I'm gonna be coming from the perspective of like the guy that wants to do it or the guy that's doing it. But that's not actually how I feel. I think it's gonna be very, you're gonna get a lot of knowledge, information will be shared. But I think it should be very, very, very interesting. So y'all don't be out there killing me, because I'm going to come from a standpoint. I'm going to try to make this case, because you know, I do believe it was done in the Bible days. But you know, we'll talk about it, y'all.
We're gonna talk about
Let's get into this video. All right. So you ready?
Yes. Let's talk.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna start with some actual segments from the Sister Wives Talking. I'm gonna share some stuff with you on the projector. And give a shout out to Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Martin Luther King Jr., and Mr. Malcolm X. But you know, this is our projector screen. Very, very powerful projector screen too. You should get you one if you ain't got one in your house. All right, let's get into this video, y'all. Here we go. Oh.
Do you know, I mean, I think that, at least for me, living in a plural marriage situation versus monogamy, it's really taught me a lot about the word commitment and the meaning of commitment. In our marriages, we really have to give and take, and we really cannot be selfish. I mean, and so I've had to really learn about, there are times when I am unhappy or things aren't going well, or just like in any other relationship, it's like you just have to be committed. You say, it's like you have to honor the idea that you are committed to this and you're going to see it through thick or thin. And it always works out. It always has, at the end of the trouble period, you're like, okay, wow, that was worth it. I'm glad we stuck it out.
I think that in order to keep our marriages strong, it's very important that we be forgiving, number one. And then we let things that are offensive or hurtful pass and find passion and connection in each relationship.
To me, it's like, you know, if you have an issue, talk about it, discuss it, work it out, be forgiving. You just really need to be able to forgive and move on and find a relationship where you are both happy.
Wow, Wilson, they put that like perfectly. I don't even have anything to even add. I think that they laid it out the way that it needed to be laid out, and then you guys should understand that. It's self-explanatory.
First of all, in a marriage, doesn't marriage mean that you're committed to each other and you're committed to the marriage? They're speaking from a perspective of being committed to the situation. I'm just being 100. Like, I just don't understand how they can sit there and be like, you know what, when we're trying to work things out, it's just so many different things going on in it that I can't necessarily digest what they're saying. But we're gonna keep it moving.
I think this is gonna get really, really interesting.
I
Let's keep going.
I want to see what's next.
Let's keep going.
So plural marriage is like monogamy on steroids. It's like bigger and more complex and kind of
More
wild.
intense.
More intense, yeah, for sure.
It's like you definitely have the same issues that, you know, a monogamous marriage would. You've just got more of it because there's so many more people
There's more layers.
consider. Yeah.
I think both beautiful things and both things that make you struggle or troubling things in a marriage are amplified by plural marriage.
Polygamy versus monogamy, there's some similarities, of course there's some differences. But I think a lot of the similarities are, I mean, these are 4 separate marriages, absolutely. In each one we're just as committed. It's an eternal commitment that we've made with each other, and a lot of monogamous marriages are like that. That's definitely a similarity.
I think in monogamy, couples that go a long time and they have a marriage that lasts have to actually consider always that they made a choice. And I think in plural marriage, it's the same. We always have to consider that we made a choice, and that's where it's at. Plural marriage, we make choices. Monogamy, we make choices. We make choices in plural marriage. Other people make choices in monogamy, and it's just a matter of honoring your choices and honoring your commitment to one another. I think it's the same on some levels. It's just more moving parts.
Okay.
It's on steroids. I have to agree.
It's in monogamy. Doesn't that mean like one? Or poly means plural.
Poly implied.
How in the world is that being reflected as the same thing? How is being married to 50 people or whatever, how many people they're married to? How is that compared to being married to one person? How's it the same?
That's good. Look, I say we keep it moving and because we have to get deeper into these facts. Cause I'm about to come at you in a minute, and I'm gonna just lay it down and tell you that this thing is a good thing. It's
not a good thing, y'all. He can sit here and talk about how great it is because think about who's it good for. That's the question.
It's good for all parties.
No, it's not. How in the world for a woman? How's it good for us?
You help each other raise each other kids, especially how my guy did it. Was it in Cody? Was it? Yes, Cody.
It's Cody, yeah.
Look, he got the cul-de-sac. They were all living right by each other. So for him, instead of going across town, or at one point they were in the same house, I think, early on in the series. So what's very, very, very cool about it is they were right there in the cul-de-sac. This house, that house, this house, that house. One night you're over here, next night you're over here, next night you're over here.
Okay, if your point is the raising of each other's kids, why can't you just live near your family members?
I'm saying that help, but it's
like,
not the same.
And your cousins help you raise your kids or something like that.
It's nothing like a mother's love.
Let's keep going because this is getting ridiculous.
People always ask why we chose plural marriage, and I just think it's funny because I always try and come up with an answer of, you know what, I felt called to do this. I really like the idea of having sister wives, but it's just the fact that I met Cody Bad A. Brown, and I got to pick him and marry him.
We make our choice about plural marriage. I believe, made our choice about plural marriage based upon religious.
Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, like, I saw beauty in it. I mean, there's definitely challenges, but I saw beauty in it. I saw a lot of very, I don't even know how to say.
Loving, wonderful depth relationships.
Yeah.
Grandmas, same thing.
Yeah, like, people want to be married because they see these old couples.
Yeah.
And they're still in love, and they're still sitting next to each other, and they're still sitting looking at the sunsets, and they're still going, you know, we made it through, we figured it out, we continued through our ups and downs and our changes, we figured out how to still love each other and how to connect with God. I mean, the relationships with God are amazing because they, you know, and to get through those tough times, they connected with God in order to do that. And that's what I saw, and I went, I want to do that. I want to achieve that. That's why I chose plural marriage.
Okay. Okay, guys. Now, she just put it down.
Really?
Connected with God, seeing the old marriage, knowing that's an eternal connection. You know, I'm gonna tell you, I was supposed to be making a case, but I think they're making their own case. So what I want to do, this is what I said. I said, you know, and I told her, I said, you want to talk to me? You know, you want to talk Bible? Let's talk Bible.
Okay, we'll talk Bible in just a second, but
No. Okay, go ahead.
We'll talk Bible in just a second, but this goes back to my original question as far as how this is working well for them. Like how do who is getting the satisfaction of this plural marriage. How many wives does he have? I can't remember.
I think he has 4.
4. There's 7 days in a week.
Mm-hmm.
For the 3 of the days, does he be by himself? Or
I think it's who's more needy at the time. What's going on with what set of kids? One set of kids got stuff that they got to do. I don't know.
Go ahead, babe.
I mean, am I wrong?
I mean,
So you think it's more conflict? It's not a good thing.
It's not. I think it's a good thing for him. That's my point. For him. Okay, put in the comments below where you've seen where there was a woman that had like 4 or 5 husbands. I'm not talking about she divorced. I'm talking about she has 4 or 5 husbands at one time.
Not built for it.
What if she want one on Monday, to cuddle with to watch the movie because the husband number 4 ain't really a cuddler. So she want the cuddler on Monday, and then on Tuesday she want the guy that does handiwork around the house because he's real good with, like the grass and everything else. Like, what if a woman wants somebody like that?
Look, some of the most powerful men in the Bible days had multiple wives, had concubines. And I think we need to get into it. I think, since I told you, a couple of videos ago, we were going to talk about this. And I brought David, I brought different people up, Solomon, I brought these people up. I said, you want to talk Bible? Let's talk Bible.
If you want to talk Bible, talk Bible.
Oh, well. Let's talk Bible then.
Huh?
Let's talk Bible then.
All right, let's see what we can pull up on the projector.
No, go ahead.
Cause you saying you would think it'll be more of a you saying you would think it'll be more of a conflict.
I think it'll be more of a conflict because you have women. Now, you have women that we have different personalities. Women they like attention, and I don't see how sharing the attention with 3 other women could be healthy for the relationship because we want attention from the person that loves us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see how in the world they just gonna be living in peace and harmony the way they act. I mean, they be up there talking about it's just like, this is my sister. I love her so much and this works well. And they be up there just talking, but we know good and well. Because think about this. When you grow up in a household with your brothers and your sisters, and then if you think that one of your siblings is getting more attention than you, there's a problem. So how in the world are you in a relationship with a man that's supposed to be your husband, and that doesn't ever happen?
A sibling and a spouse is 2 different bills.
I know it's 2 different bills.
So it's 2 different responsibilities.
But but marriage is a totally different on a total different level than that. It's supposed to be more committed and everything.
Again, some of the most powerful leaders of our time, or not of our time, but in the history of the world,
in the Bible,
had concubines. So I think we should get into it.
Okay, let's
and
get
I
into
prove
it.
to you
Okay.
that they had it.
Okay, let's go.
Since you're so adamant about proving me wrong,
let's go.
Let's get into this.
When people look at the Bible and they see cases of polygamy, they're not distinguishing between what God commands from the history of how he treated his people and how his people treated him. And his people were not faithful. God is the one who designs marriage. God is the one who invents marriage. Marriage is not something invented by humans. God is the one who gives the first woman to the first man. God is the one who presides over that marriage ceremony. And then when Moses tells us this, he makes a comment, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife in the singular, and the 2 shall be one flesh. So that's God's standard. That's what the Bible is teaching.
I think he is preaching, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the night, like I said, they were still. some of the most powerful people. I need it. That's what I need. He need to help me understand. I think we should continue.
Okay,
Let
let's
me start
continue.
projecting.
I like what he's saying.
Let me start.
Let's go.
I mean, you know, it's gonna be all right, because I got a case.
Okay.
I think.
You go ahead. Go ahead. Make a case. Make a case.
What the Bible is teaching. We should distinguish that from the Bible as a divine history of God's relationships with his people. These relationships are called covenants. A covenant is like a marriage where two parties make a commitment to be devoted to each other, to be loyal, to be faithful. We see that God creates that kind of a relationship with Adam and Eve, but they are disloyal. They do not believe his word. They do not obey him, and they plunge humanity into chaos and evil.
Ooh, this is food for my soul, y'all. Food for my soul.
Cody from Sister Wives. Yeah, his name is Cody Bryant.
Okay.
Yeah. Next
I
segment.
think we should go to the next segment because
God makes a new start with Noah, and then that also goes down the tubes. God makes a new start with Abraham and his family. Then God makes a covenant with Israel, the family of Abraham. And the whole history of the Old Testament is a history of how human partners are unfaithful, human partners are disloyal. They do not believe in the word of God. They do not believe what God says. They do not obey his royal rule and kingship, and they rebel, and they want to establish what is right and wrong for themselves. And so in that history, we see a constant violation of the original standard. And so that's what we're seeing. We see that with Abraham, God promises him a child. He doesn't trust God. He doesn't wait for God. He tries to do it on his own strength, and he has a relationship with Sarah's female servant. Jacob also has 2 wives. Is that a wonderful relationship? No, it's not a wonderful relationship. The Bible is showing that this brings in all kinds of trouble. In the book of Judges, it tells us that these judges had many wives. Why? Because they were aspiring to be king. So most people in the ancient Near East only had 1 wife. Only kings could afford to have many wives. So when you read the Bible is not promoting polygamy. It's showing us that only royal figures had many wives. And it's also showing us that this is not ideal, that this caused all kinds of difficulty and hardship and trouble and the fighting among the wives and it's not a satisfactory relationship.
y'all, you don't understand. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I wanna, and I have something to come back with.
Okay.
I wanna finish hearing what he had to say because it's very interesting. But I hear what he's saying, you know, and I see what he's
powerful too.
Oh yeah, you know,
Powerful.
he's you know, he's making my Bible days quote look, you know, not have any foundation. But I got, you know, we living in a new time now too, so. Just hold out.
Where's this gonna go?
I got it, but I want to hear this man out.
Oh, I want to hear him. I love him.
I want to hear him out.
We see that in the case of Solomon. Solomon is a tragic figure because he did not practice what he preached. So you have the wisdom of Solomon in what he wrote, but we don't see the wisdom of Solomon in the way he lived. He disregarded his own wise principles. He multiplied wives, which is expressly forbidden for kings in Deuteronomy 17. The king is not to multiply wives, not to multiply gold, not to multiply horses, because who is a king going to marry? He's going to marry a a princess from another country, and it's going to create a political alliance, and they're going to trust in that alliance, and they're not going to trust in the Lord. He's not to multiply horses, because he's not to rely on chariots and military hardware. He's not to multiply gold, because he's not to trust in his ability to pay other kings to deliver him. He's to put his trust in Yahweh. So what the history of the Bible shows, even though these were men of faith, they're not men of morality. Not everything they did was moral. If you look at the New Testament and look at what Jesus says in the New Testament and look at what the apostles say, they never hold up anyone from the Old Testament as a moral example. They hold them up as examples of faith, but not as examples of morality. So there's a very clear difference between what God commands and instructs us to do in marriage and how his people actually behaved in the history that's recorded for us. Just because these things happened in the Old Testament, we have to listen to what the narrator is saying. The narrator is not saying this is a good thing. He's showing that it's a bad thing. It creates all kinds of problems, and it doesn't create a satisfactory way to live, because it's abandoning the creation standard.
Somebody's missing, y'all. Somebody left. I thought he had some points though. Oh, you back? What happened? What happened?
Well,
You look cute, by the way, but you look like
Thank you.
You got defeated.
nah. Well, I can tell you this. You know, there's one more clip I want to show you.
Okay.
Because
Let's do that.
if this clip pans out like I think it should, you know, yeah, it may have been quarreling and disagreements back then, but I don't think that'd be the case now. Let's watch.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case now. Let's watch.
You've all said, he's a fantastic father and husband. So I'm trying to visualize a circumstance that would warrant the harsh feeling of jealousy.
Not a specific instance, but what I get jealous about most is time and where he spends his time.
So that goes back to my statement is, how do you divide the time? And this is another interesting factor that they're not considering. What if he gets along better with one or two of them, better than he gets along better with a few of them than he does with the others? Because naturally, he's going to want to spend more time with the one that doesn't give him a headache. The ones that, that always have great time together. The one that want to argue and bicker, he going to spend some time with them because he has to. But he don't necessarily want to spend like most of his time with them. Ty.
Yeah.
What? Are you still with me here? Or, what's going on over there?
Cody ain't helped me, you know what I'm saying?
He's not.
I'm depending on Cody to help me. And it started out so good. Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I didn't know he was gonna come with that foolishness for season 6, man, showing attention and stuff. I ain't got nothing to say, man.
I think that the mess was going on the entire time, but they couldn't. It's one of those things where they couldn't keep it in anymore. So,
okay, man. I think they've seen enough, man.
Yeah, but the Bible, it's everything, and that's really the point of what we're saying now. The Bible.
So. It is what it is, man. I'm ready to go get something to eat, man.
Okay, well, you know what? We thank you guys for joining us in this discussion.
But all jokes aside, y'all, y'all know what time it is. Hopefully we share some information with y'all that's pretty cool.
I think it's very cool too, because a lot of times, as a believer, we get asked certain questions, and one of the questions they ask is like, they'll be like, well, why in the world in the Bible were people married to so many different people? and then now you're saying that you only can get married to one person. So it answers like.
So I thought it was interesting to me to hear that like they would look more at as their for their faith. They were great men of faith, but not for morality. I was like, because I do know that those guys had a ton of faith and that they made some powerful things happen that we benefit for now. So there's a lot of things that you gotta look into. We study on a more deeper level. So traditionally, we're not with everything that somebody may typically think traditionally. But I mean, looking at this is kind of self-explanatory. So, we just wanted to share this video with y'all, and we hope it was fun. We hope it was cool. Just different ways to get your attention and talk to you about things that matter in the world that a lot of other people ain't talking about, right? So yeah, we appreciate y'all. Look, make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment. Hit the post notification bell so you'll be notified every single time we drop a video. We are grateful for y'all. We appreciate y'all hanging out. And again, we hope y'all like this. Look, we gonna bounce, y'all, right? Let's go. Team Jackson, peace and love.
I'm starting to really believe that communication is the key. I think communication is the key. We need to start communicating.